Whenever we go through a stretch of hot and humid weather, it's natural to think about where you could go to find reliably mild and comfortable weather during the summer, even in July and August, which are on average the warmest and most humid months in Pennsylvania. Well, here's the top 5 from a ranking of the largest metropolitan areas in the country based on a combination of low humidity, moderate daytime temperatures, and cool nights during July and August. 1 and 2 are in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle and Portland. 3 and 5 are also on the West Coast, San Francisco and San Jose. And of course, Denver is a high-altitude western city. Here's the key statistics for these places. Average highs in the 70s for Seattle, Portland, and San Francisco. Pretty easy to take. Even low to mid-80s are tolerable when overnight lows are in the easy sleeping 50s. And with average dew points from 46 to 54 in the summer, most of the time in these places, the air just doesn't feel humid. Let's talk about Seattle and Portland in more detail. Even when they get a hot spell, as they did last week, it's almost always without humidity, because to get hot there, the flow has to be offshore. And air coming from the interior northwest is dry and warms up as it sinks on the western side of the Cascades. And it's hard for them to stay hot for many days in a row because as temperatures rise in the interior, pressures tend to fall over that hot interior, and that eventually induces cooler ocean air to come inland, kind of like a gigantic sea breeze, and that ends the heat. As proof, the longest stretch of 90-degree days in Seattle since observations began at the airport in 1948 is just 5. It's only happened twice, coincidentally once this summer. For comparison, in our state capital of Harrisburg, it's 17. Even in cooler State College, it's 15. And there are other reasons that Pacific Northwest summers get rave reviews. In July and August, Seattle and Portland on average get less rain than even Phoenix and El Paso, places typically associated with dryness, and much, much less rain than what's average here in Pennsylvania in July and August, which is between 7 and 8 inches. That lack of rain means far fewer mosquitoes than we're used to here in the East, and the Pacific Northwest also has great visibility in summer because the air has typically been cleansed by crossing thousands of miles of ocean. And being pretty far to the north, they have some of the longest daylights in the lower 48 this time of year. Here's the average length of daylight in the first week of August for a few places. We're at about 14¼ hours here in Pennsylvania, and also other big cities at about our latitude right now, such as Boston and Chicago. But Seattle has almost 15 hours of daylight right now. Finally, it probably goes without saying, but the Pacific Northwest doesn't have to worry about hurricanes or tropical storms, thanks to the cool offshore Pacific waters, which also make thunderstorms, particularly severe ones, rare during the warm season. Fred is back next with our extended forecast.